I think the way we teach the eyes fulfill certain myths and some misunderstandings of how the eye works. Now, when I was introduced to sight in biology in high school, I questioned it and I doubted the information they presented. And after these almost 40 years, I have not been convinced that the established understanding is correct. Now, I have a video here by Bosch and Lump, and they were talking about a journey through the human eyes. Now, I want us to look at it carefully, and I'm giving credit to them. And they're talking in terms of what is the general view out there, that there is these images out there, and they just filter into our eyes. And let us watch that.
System. The reflected light of the world enters through the crystal transparency of the cornea, aqueous humor, lens, and vitreous humor to project onto the photoreceptors of the retina, whose impulses converge on the optic nerve, and then to the brain to be transfigured into imagery and imbued with.
And so, yes, there's a combination of that receiving light, not images, light, and where we're also perceiving light. So there are two ways the eye operates. Well, light, you see, originally when God created the world, He said that He's creating the sun and the moon and the stars to dominate and to give light during the day and during the night. And so, light travels at about 186,000 miles per second. So that this light comes to our eyes, all light out there. And if you were to put a tube in a roof and the building is dark, you will see the light coming through and the dust in the air is going to be in it, and then you see on the floor that circle. So the light is moving. Now if you were to take this same object and you turn it upside down, you will find that the buildings and the trees and the other things around will not penetrate. Okay? They will not penetrate. You'll just see more light again, but you won't see a building, even if you put a white, sort of a canvas there. You're not going to get the buildings and anything outside, reflecting there, except you somebody or something passing between the light and this tube. You can see a little blackout, and then as the person moves up or whatever moves up, then the light comes through again. So yes, in this way, the eye is opening and this light is coming in. There was the brightness. On the other hand, I believe that where this, on the retina, right where the optical nerves come in, I think right there is where the sight happens. They're saying that we receive maybe ones and zeros, and then like the computer perhaps, and then the brain interprets it and put it together, and you see what you're seeing. Now with the light, the sun, the moon, and the stars, that is God's handiwork. But we as humans, we've created light, we've created bulbs and other ways of brightening the place. The eternal flame by the grave of the unknown. But you know what? It uses up energy. And if there's a blackout, and if there's no current, battery or otherwise, the light is going to go out. So that light which moves to our eyes, it is using energy, and it's sort of consuming itself. Now, I don't want to go further and say that if time should last long enough, the moon will burn out, the sun will burn out, and the moon will burn out, and all that kind of stuff. By the way, the moon just reflects the light from the sun, so that is not necessarily the source of the energy. So they're saying that perhaps the sun will burn out, but here, that's God's business. I don't know how He's replenishing it. I don't know what He's doing. And so, if buildings and trees and other things were doing the same thing like light, moving, then they would have been consuming themselves. But they continued the way. And another thing, house there is we got sand from over there, water from here, rocks from over there, cement from there. And we mixed up, we put wood and glass and metal and so on, steel and so on. We construct the building. So in other words, we have the ability to take these various elements and compounds, put them together, get a house, and then we're going to be able to create this image that this house now is going to project. I don't think that is true. And so this is the myth, I think, that is there. We don't have the technology, and we may never ever be able to know. You see, in biology, again, they teach you that plants are alive and they move. They move to light, they move to gravity by going straight up, and the roots move to water. So it's phototropism, light, geotropism, water. No, geotropism is gravity, and heterotropism is moving to the water, root moving to the water. And then they tell you what plants need to grow. And you know what? There are things that plants are using that we haven't the technology yet to recognize. So all I'm saying is that our knowledge and our experiences are so limited that unless the big God comes in and gives us the understanding, this is why I want to go to heaven. Because I want to continue some of the research in some of these mysteries that I did not understand here on earth. And God is going to explain to us, as we talked about once, that light wasn't refracted until the flood. Then God put that principle in so that light, you see it in the various colors. You put a prism there, it becomes red, violet, orange, green, blue, indigo, violet, and so on. And when you put another prism opposite, it comes back into pure white light. So, you know, we're just sort of touching the surface. I'm not talking about bizarre things, which now they're saying that, you know, you could change me from a man into a woman when all my genes are male. And, you know what I mean? There are some things that we obviously should know. And so, but yeah, there are other things that we don't know yet. We don't understand yet. We don't have the technology. We don't have the experience. Maybe we will never ever know everything. And so, to make a long story short here, I don't believe that the principle that they're saying that the retina is just a film. Now, it seems to me that right where that optical nerve goes into the brain from the eyes, right in there, those cells in there probably have the ability to perceive things right there. In other words, the lens in the eye adjusts so as to reach that house over there. Now, if the house is too far, we can't see it, right? But if it's close, the retina, the optical nerve right in there, which perceives the thing, which is looking through the lens to get the image to put to the mind. That is what I think happens. Right there, there is the eye. The real eye is there, and it uses the lens to expand or contract so we can see far in there, and then it sends the image to the brain, and we respond in the way that we ought to towards it. Appreciation, you know, fear, running away, avoidance, admiration, excitement, etc. So the eye is not like a camera. And the same thing again. The camera, you adjust the lens so as to get the house or the person down there. But if the person and the house were coming to our eyes, then we won't need to adjust that image if we go close enough. In other words, if you expose film, I don't think it's going to get the housing around. It's just going to get light up and messed up. But with the lens, it's going to bring the image of that building from where it's at, so the film, and there it meets. So the light goes into the eyes, and you know, we see it and so forth. But it comes to us, it's all over, but the buildings and everything else don't move like that. So I think that we need to research this some more, and I would like to hear some input from some of these big scholars out there. What do they think? The theory we have of the eye is wrong. It doesn't work that way, and we need to, you know, think about it and accept that right in the optical nerves, right there by the retina, right there is the eye. And the true eye, and the aqueous fluid, and the lens, and the iris, and all those things are just helping in the optical nerve ending there, optical nerve. But that eye in there, right, is a specialized cell. It's a cell that, you know, recognizes things. It's not the brain only. It recognizes it, it takes the picture, and it sends it, you know, it's a recording, as it were, actively. Not that it's passively come through, because the building can't come through. And the lens Yeah, the lens will bring the image in, but I think that it's adjusting just how you use the binoculars. You put it at the eyes and you adjust it so you could see things from far that you look near and you could appreciate it and so on. I think that's what the lens and the iris and all that do. But right there, that cell is where the eye really is.